Yousafzai has been celebrated worldwide as a symbol of resistance against the Taliban and an advocate for girls' education. However, her prominence and the awarding of the Nobel Peace Prize in 2014 at 17 years old have been perceived by some as tools used by Western governments, particularly the US and the UK, to paint Pakistan and Muslims in a negative light and justify foreign intervention. The story has been amplified by global media, shaping a narrative that some argue is politically motivated. By examining the origins of this perspective and analyzing how different sources have framed her rise to prominence, we can better understand the interplay between activism, media representation, and political influence. A closer look at conspiracy theories surrounding Malala's story reveals patterns that align with Daniel Pipes' framework for evaluating the credibility of such claims. Many of these theories rest on speculative assertions rather than concrete proof. The idea that the US orchestrated the attack on Malala to justify military operations in Pakistan lacks tangible evidence, yet it persists in certain circles. At the heart of these theories lies the tendency to layer multiple, often contradictory claims. Some allege that Malala was shot by the CIA, while others claim she staged the attack herself to gain international recognition. After an investigation into her case, a doctor claimed that, according to DNA analysis, Malala is a Caucasian, most likely from Poland. When reporters asked why he was revealing Malala's real identity now, the doctor stated he was convinced Malala had been planted in SWAT by anti-Pakistan element. However, the Taliban openly admitted to targeting her, yet those who reject this version of events dismiss their statements as part of a larger deception. This reluctance to acknowledge contradictory evidence only serves to further entrench these conspiracy theories. Additionally, Malala's critics often indiscriminately accept any argument that supports their anti-Western stance. Given Pakistan's long history with foreign intervention, skepticism toward Western narratives is understandable. However, when this skepticism morphs into a wholesale rejection of Malala's activism as nothing more than a Western tool, it raises questions about the motivations behind such claims. Credibility of sources discussing Malala varies widely, contributing to the fragmented perceptions of her story. Established journalistic and academic publications tend to present well-structured arguments, drawing from documented facts and first-hand accounts. On the other hand, satirical or fringe sources, some of which were never intended to be taken seriously, have been misinterpreted as factual accounts, fueling conspiracy theory. Many of these narratives rely on selective information to support predetermined conclusions. While some authors emphasize Malala's genuine activism, others portray her as a manufactured figure, citing unverified claims and cherry-picked evidence, and that she is a normal, useless type of a girl. Nothing in her is special at all, just feeding into selling what the West will buy. This divergence highlights the power of media representation in shaping public perception, as different audiences gravitate toward narratives that reinforce their existing beliefs. Beyond conspiracy theory analysis, sociological and psychological perspectives provide further insight into the controversy surrounding Malala. From a sociological standpoint, her reception in Pakistan is deeply rooted in historical and political context. Western intervention in the region has long been met with resistance, and Malala's association with global recognition feeds into pre-existing narratives of foreign influence. Her story is not just about a girl's fight for education. It is also entangled in larger geopolitical tensions that shape how figures like her are perceived. Psychologically, confirmation bias plays a significant role in sustaining the theories surrounding Malala. Those who are predisposed to distrust Western involvement in Pakistan are more likely to accept narratives that depict her as a pawn of foreign governments. This cognitive tendency explains why, despite the lack of concrete evidence, conspiracy theories about Malala persist and even evolve over time. Malala's image has transcended activism, evolving into a powerful global brand. Her memoir, I Am Malala, became an international bestseller, and her presence in Western media, through interviews, documentaries, and public appearances, further cemented her status as an icon. While this visibility has amplified her message, it has also fueled skepticism in Pakistan, where some critics argue that her commercialization reflects a Western agenda rather than grassroots activism. However, Her children believe mission shares her passion to create equal access to education, to create a world where every individual, regardless of gender or background, can unleash their full potential and contribute to a brighter future for all. Her story has also been strategically used in political discourse. Western narratives often frame her as a singular figure of defiance against the oppression of women in Muslim-majority countries, while overlooking systemic gender inequalities within their own societies. This selective use of Malala's image points to a broader ideological strategy, where her story is leveraged to serve political ends beyond the scope of education advocacy. Malala Yousafzai's story is a complex intersection of genuine activism, media representation, and political influence. While her efforts to promote girls' education are undeniable, the framing of her narrative by Western governments and media outlets has contributed to widespread skepticism in Pakistan. Conspiracy theories about her reflect a deeper mistrust of foreign intervention, though they often lack credible evidence. Ultimately, Malala's prominence serves as a case study in how global narratives are constructed, manipulated, and received differently across cultural and political landscapes. Her legacy is not just about education but also about the power of storytelling in shaping public perception.